Hi guys, this is O-level chemistry paper 12 November 2015 question 11. The formula of the gas ozone is O3. What is the volume of 48 grams of ozone at RTP? So we know that 1 mole of any gas at RTP occupies a volume of 24 dm cube. So we need to find out the number of moles of ozone. So the AR of oxygen is 16. Therefore, MR of ozone would be 16 into 3, which is equal to 48. So now to calculate the number of moles of ozone. So moles of ozone is equal to mass 48 upon MR, which is also 48, which gives us 1 mole. Since we have 1 mole of ozone, its volume would be 24 dm cube, because 1 mole of any gas at RTP occupies a volume of 24 dm cube, and we have got 1 mole of ozone present at RTP. Therefore, option B is the correct option for this question. Question 12. Which substance, when added to pure water, will produce a solution which conducts electricity? So calcium chloride. So calcium chloride in water would produce Ca2 positive, aqueous ions, and 2 moles of Cl negative aqueous ions. So aqueous ions will conduct electricity. Graphite. Now graphite is an allotrope of carbon and it is a covalent macromolecule, so it will not dissolve in water. Iron is a metal, it will not dissolve in water. Sugar will dissolve in water, but sugar is a covalent compound. In water, molecules of sugar would be present in the aqueous state, not ions. So molecules of sugar will not conduct electricity. Therefore, the only solution in which aqueous ions are present and will be able to conduct electricity is calcium chloride, making option A the correct option for this question. Question 13. Two gases X and Y react together to form a gas Z as shown. The change in condition, which change in condition will both increase the rate of reaction and increase the equilibrium yield of Z? Okay, so decrease in the concentration of X. So if there is a decrease in the concentration of X, therefore there is a decrease in the concentration of the reactants, the equilibrium will move in the backward direction, decreasing the yield of Z, and this will have no effect on the rate of reaction. Increasing the pressure. An increase in pressure favors the side with the lesser number of moles. The lesser number of moles is in the product side because there are 4 moles of reactants and 2 moles of product. So this will result in the forward reaction being favored. So when the forward reaction is favored, there would be an increase in the yield of Z, which is the product. So if the forward reaction is being favored, the rate of reaction, as in the rate of forward reaction, would be greater. Next, increase in temperature. An increase in temperature favors the endothermic side of the reaction. Since the forward reaction is endothermic, then the increase in temperature will favor the backward reaction. So the equilibrium will shift towards the left. And use of a catalyst. A use of a catalyst will increase the rate of reaction but will have no effect on the position of the equilibrium. Therefore, since we need a greater yield of Z, which is possible with an increase in pressure, and this will also increase the rate of forward reaction. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 14. A solution of sodium carbonate was added to tap water. Sodium carbonate, okay. A white precipitate formed. Which ion present in the tap water caused the precipitate to form? So chloride. Sodium chloride is soluble, will not form a precipitate. Magnesium carbonate is insoluble, will form a precipitate. Potassium carbonate is soluble and will not form a precipitate. And sodium sulfate is also soluble and it will not form a precipitate. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 15. In which reaction is nitric acid acting as an oxidizing agent? Okay, in the first reaction, we've got copper metal with an oxidation state of 0, producing copper nitrate with the copper ion having an oxidation state of positive 2. So 0 to positive 2 is oxidation in the presence of nitric acid. In the next equation, copper has a oxidation state of plus 2 in the reactant as well as the product. So no change in oxidation state of copper. Next, sodium carbonate and HNO3. So sodium has an oxidation state of plus 1 in the reactant as well as the product. Therefore, there is no change in the oxidation state. And in the fourth one, NaOH plus HNO3, sodium has an oxidation state of plus 1. It stays plus 1, so there is no change in oxidation state. So the only reaction in which there is a change in oxidation state is the reaction of copper metal with nitric acid producing copper nitrate, water and nitrogen dioxide, which is reaction A. Therefore, A is the correct option for this question. Question 16. Which reaction does not involve neutralization? So the first one has sulfuric acid and ammonia. So this is an acid-base reaction, which is neutralization. The next one has sulfuric acid, which is an acid, and we've got BaCl2, which is a salt, and this results in the formation of an insoluble salt, which is barium sulfate. Therefore, this is a precipitation reaction. Next, sulfuric acid is an acid. Copper oxide is reacting to produce salt and water. So copper oxide is acting as a base in this reaction. So this is neutralization. And the last one, sulfuric acid is an acid. NaOH is a base. So an acid and a base would result in the formation of salt and water, which would be a neutralization reaction. So precipitation reaction is the only one in which we do not have neutralization taking place. Therefore, option B is the correct option for this question. Question 17. Which pair of substances react to form salt and water only? So the first one is aqueous sodium chloride, NaCl plus silver nitrate, AgNO3. So when these two react, this will result in the formation of AgCl, which is a salt, and NaNO3, which is also a salt. So A is incorrect. B, aqueous sodium hydroxide, NaOH plus dilute ethanoic acid, CH3COOH. This would react to form CH3COO minus Na plus, which is a salt, and it would form H2O, which is water. So salt and water is forming. So this is correct. Next, we have aqueous sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, reacting with dilute sulfuric acid, H2SO4. So this would result in the formation of Na2SO4, which is a salt. We have release of carbon dioxide gas and formation of H2O water. So salt and water are forming, but we also have release of carbon dioxide gas, which is not a requirement of this question. So this is incorrect as well. And the last one, we have got zinc metal reacting with dilute HCl. This would produce zinc chloride as the salt, but instead of water, we will have liberation of hydrogen gas, making this incorrect as well. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 18. Iron is obtained in the blast furnace from the ore hematite. Hematite is Fe2O3. Which reaction takes place in the blast furnace? Calcium carbonate is used to remove acidic impurities. Yes. CaCO3 reacts with SiO2, which is the acidic impurity, producing CaSiO3 and releasing CO2 gas. So this is correct. Coke is reduced to carbon dioxide. No. Coke is oxidized to carbon dioxide. Next, hematite is oxidized by carbon monoxide. No. Hematite is reduced. And this reaction is Fe2O3 plus 3 moles of carbon monoxide, producing 2 moles of iron metal and 3 moles of carbon dioxide. And last one, hematite undergoes thermal decomposition. No, it undergoes reduction. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option A. Question 19. Aluminum is manufactured from aluminum oxide by electrolysis. The compound cryolite is used in this process. Which statement about cryolite is correct? It is a common name for aluminum oxide. No, the common name for aluminum oxide is bauxite, not cryolite. It is used to dissolve aluminum oxide. Yes, cryolite is used to dissolve aluminum oxide in order to lower its temperature of melting, or rather melting point, in order to lower its melting point. Next, it is used to make the positive electrode. No, carbon is used to make the positive and the negative electrode. It is used to make the negative electrode. No, carbon is. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option B. Question 20. An element is burnt in an excess of oxygen. Which statement about the oxide is always correct? The mass of oxide formed is greater than the mass of element burned. Yes. For example, if we have got carbon burning in oxygen and producing carbon dioxide, the mass of carbon is 12, whereas the mass of carbon dioxide is 44. So the mass of the oxide is always greater than the mass of the element. This is correct. The oxide formed is a crystalline solid. No, CO2 taken as an example proves that the product formed could be a gas as well, because CO2 is a gas, not a crystalline solid. The oxide formed is soluble in water. Carbon dioxide is partially soluble in water. It is not completely soluble, whereas there are other oxides like iron oxide, Fe2O3, which is insoluble in water. So this is incorrect. The oxide formed is white in color. Carbon dioxide is a colorless gas. It is not necessary that it is colored. And iron 3 oxide is having a rust color or a red brown color. So it is not always white in color. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option A.